What's good, people? So in this video, I'm going to be responding to a question I was asked about how do you structure and respond to 12 and 50 mark questions when it comes to your GCSE Citizenship exam according to Edexcel. Now, here's the first thing that I will state. It is exactly the same. Okay, the questions are framed differently, but when it comes to how you approach the answer, or how you approach the question, it's relatively the same structure in terms of how many paragraphs and how you conclude. Okay, just to sort of show you, here's what I'm going to do. I've put both things on the board, okay, so that you can see. And first and foremost, if you do hear children in the background, it's because I'm at home and I have children. So if you take the 12 and the 50 marker side by side, you might think there's a bit of a difference. There isn't. Have a quick look at this. So what you can see there is level 1. Okay, and you can see that generally speaking, the things are the same. So you can see here, little analysis of views or relevant viewpoints. Okay, same thing. The evaluation is underdeveloped. The evaluation is underdeveloped. An overall judgment is missing. An overall judgment is missing also. Like the key words and phrases for how you assess this question or how you attempt this question is exactly the same. Okay, just to continue so that it's not like some fluke. Some analysis, some analysis. Okay, analysis of relevant viewpoints, analysis of relevant viewpoints. Okay, we can see that they are exactly the same. Okay, so I said to say this. If we're looking as to how you approach answering them, okay, the only difference between the 12 and the 50 marker is once again the question itself. Okay, the structure is the same ish, and there is one ish, just one very minor ish, but everything else is the same. Okay, so what you can see here is when we're teaching students how to approach this question in terms of structuring their paragraphs, we use a thing called flash marking. Long story short, it's a way to use highlighters to codify different parts of your paragraph, which makes it easier for students to recognize what parts of the paragraph are where, and also helps the teacher to very quickly assess a student's work and to make sure they know what they're writing and where they're writing it. So that being said and discussed, that is the reason for the color coding. Okay, so you can see here in terms of what's to view at different points in each of the different bandings for how many answers you get, you need to give different views. Okay, remember, you cannot get more than 7 marks, or band 2, shall I say, and that's for the 12 and the 50 marker, and the 10 marker, shall I add, if you don't represent different sides of the argument. That's the cap. Okay, as you can see, focus on one side of the argument. Has to be over, to get more than 7 marks, you have to have more than one side of the argument. Anyways, I digress. The how, so generally relevant, material is relevant, reasoned, coherent arguments. So everything is, in terms of the evidence and the relevance, is there. The analysis, as you can see, pink, 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 pink. Oh, it's blue there. And then the evaluation, as you can see, is referred to there. That's where you discuss the effectiveness of the particular idea or policy in terms of its strengths or weaknesses. Okay. Once again, 3 to 4 paragraphs. Here is where there's a little bit of a caveat. 10 and a 12 marker, you can get away with 3 paragraphs. Okay, 3 really good, well-structured paragraphs, just 3. Okay, the 15 marker, because of the 2 bullet points, it's easier for you to think about a for and against for each of the bullet points. So you see these bullet points here? Just give a for and against for them. There's a structure of your essay. Easy as, okay? And then the conclusion, which is where you give your final judgment, okay? So that is how that works. Now, just to reiterate, the caps for the 15 marker, I've already spoken about giving both sides of the argument. You have to evaluate. As you can see, right, the evaluation has to be reasoned and coherent. That basically means that there's good reasons that you refer back to within that paragraph when you're writing either the why-to section of your paragraph or the link section of your paragraph. If you're using Peel, right, you need to give that evaluation. No evaluation, it gets capped, okay? Secondly, making sure that you give an overall judgment, okay? That is in that final paragraph, because as you can see, an overall judgment is given, okay? That's consistent between all of the bands, and it has to be well substantiated through the evidence provided, okay? So I hope that answers that particular question about how you approach the 12 and the 15 markers. Remember, the structure is exactly the same. What you're being assessed on is exactly the same. The only sort of caveat is that you can get away with 3 paragraphs for the 10 and the 12 marker. Probably you want at least 3 for the 15 marker, preferably 4, plus your overall conclusion in that final paragraph after you've given your views. But there you have it. Okay? So on that note, good luck and God bless.